you're able to do a lot of damage for free with something like Hisuian Electrode V, or just with a single double turbo can unhinge Scissors for quite a good chunk of change.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this deck absolutely has a very good Miraidon matchup.
Oh,
If nothing else, it has a really good Miraidon matchup. It is really difficult for them to deal with 4 Klawf, one-hit KOing everything in their deck. And then you might look at it on paper and think, this has a pretty decent Charizard matchup as well. You don't need much of an investment for Hisuian Electrode V to KO a Charizard. It is weak to grass. It's pretty easy to pull that off. And that is the matchup we're going to see play out here. So how does Azul, one of the best players in the game, navigate an awkward matchup that, I got to tell you, I don't know that he has very many games against this deck.
Well, that's saying something, especially coming from you. Does he even know that Brute Bonnet's a Pokemon?
He might not know exactly what it looks like, but he absolutely knows what the card does and knows what it is. Azul is very good about knowing what all the cards do, and even if he hasn't played a specific matchup at any point, he is really good at knowing everything that it's possible for your opponent to do and thinking through all of the different lines. So I'm really excited to see how he decides to navigate this. And then on Jason's side, excited to see some spicy seasoned curries, some Brute Bonnet's poisoning, and some big one-hit KOs with that Hisuian Electrode V.
Now, again, a reminder, both these players are already in day 2 at 19 match points, 6-0-1, but with the climate of the tournament and just all the prize money on the line, you want as many match points as possible. And Azul giving a little laugh as the Klawf flips over.
As soon as he sees it, he just starts chuckling to himself. And what a top deck there. Battle VIP Pass, of course, the best way to start a game in the Pokemon TCG, is now going to allow Azul to search his deck for any 2 Pokemon and put them directly onto the bench.
Honestly, without that draw, Azul's not getting a Charmander in play this turn.
Was massive, yeah.
Has the Rotom V and a Pidgey in hand, but this Battle VIP Pass will allow him to search for a couple Charmander if he wants. Maybe Charmander, Mew, depending.
Yeah, I think he had a Pidgey in hand, and I think he had that Rotom V in hand as well, which is really, really strong. So a couple of Charmander here I think makes a lot of sense. He also has 1 rare candy in his hand currently, and there were 2 in the prize cards, so that is absolutely going to be something he needs to keep in mind.
Azul reading the Klawf, that unhinged Scissors. Able to do 130 damage if it is affected by a special condition. Now with the double turbo energy, it lowers it to 170. Still a lot.
It does it does 190 and then lowers it down to 170. I think you said 130 at first. Yeah. So it gets in there.
In my head, I was saying 190.
It gets in there for sure. It can do a lot of damage, and we can see that happen on the first turn of the game. Jason can pretty much instantly take a knockout on this Manaphy, and he doesn't need much to do it. Just a double turbo energy and then a spicy seasoned curry or the Brute Bonnet with that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule.
Battle VIP Pass does go ahead and grab 2 Charmander, 1 of each type. Rotom V on the bench. Energy on the Pidgey here.
All right, and this is interesting as well. We're going to see the attachment to the Pidgey. Makes me wonder if we're going to see Azul try to utilize that Pidgeot EX as an attacker. Deals 120 damage. That's enough to knock out a lot of stuff in Jason's deck.
Also knocks out a Klawf.
It does, yeah. Knocks out the Klawf, knocks out the Brute Bonnet, can knock out the Bibarel on his end. Doesn't quite knock out the Radiant Hisuian Sneasler, but he can get there on a lot of different things.
Now Jason's turn. Looks like a pretty good hand here. Has that Battle VIP Pass as well to go along with a 4 Sealstone, a couple Ultra Ball, I believe.
Yeah, that 4 Sealstone is pretty strong to have in this opening hand. Can combo it with the Battle VIP Pass to do just about anything he would want. He's also got Boss's Orders in hand, so there's a world where we could see 2 prizes on this turn, just taking out that Rotom V on the bench right away. It is weak to fighting. You also could be aggressive and target the Pidgey. I kind of like that a little bit better. If you want to go for a boss play, take that out, because this Charizard deck really starts to falter if it does not have access to Quick Search every single turn.
Especially with Azul attaching that fire energy to the Pidgey, kind of signals that that's the route he wants to go for this game.
There's also a Bibarel in Jason's hand, so he does want to set up a Bidoof at some point as well. Here comes that Hisuian Electrode V. It's always funny to me whenever these kind of off-the-wall, unexpected promo cards end up being really strong in the game. Now, Hisuian Electrode did get a full art print, is what Jason is playing here, but it originally came out as a promo card. You could get this in a collection box at your local game store, online, big box retailers, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, you know, it's just kind of thought of as a bulk card. Nobody really thinks it's very good. But then a few months later, new cards come out, the Klawf, the Brute Bonnet, the Spicy Seasoned Curry, all these things come together, and it becomes a decent little deck.
Forest Sealstone is going to be attached to that Hisuian Electrode V. Now can use Star Alchemy to find something like another Battle VIP pass if you want. And this is where the decision making is going to be pretty big for Jason. You want to be able to attack this turn. Just every turn you want to take a knockout. It's usually how this deck goes. It does have access to Ultra Ball here. It's going to discard Escape Rope and Boss's Orders.
Yeah, I think the only way Jason can find an attack this turn is if he uses Squawkabilly to get a new hand and go from there. He's going to need the double turbo energy, he needs the Spicy Seasoned Curry, or that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, so he just needs a few more cards. He can't get all of that off of just the one from Forest Sealstone.
Still has access to that supporter as well, so we could see Forest Sealstone for something like Professor's Research or Iono.
Yeah, it's going to be Iono or Research here. It's kind of awkward because the last card in Jason's hand is Bibarel. You really would like to have that for next turn, but if it means you can potentially dig for the attack this turn, it's probably worth it to just go for the Iono.
Once again, video game masters division players.
Here, still just deliberating this Star Alchemy.
There was a line where Jason could have gone for Escape Rope, you know, push the Hisuian Electrode, and then V-Starred for that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. That would be able to get you the knockout on just about anything except the Rotom, but then you open yourself up to being return KO'd, so that's probably not worth it. Probably why Jason didn't go that route.
Now, I didn't see what Jason grabbed off this Forest Sealstone, but it's definitely going to be something to continue this turn, most likely.
Yep, that other card was the Bibarel. Let's see what he was able to find. It is the Research, so we are going to see the hand discarded here, 7 new cards drawn.
And I guess with the search, you can also just say, like, oh, yep, the second B-Barrel's in the deck. I'm fine discarding this one.
Yep, you feel just fine losing it if you have to. There is also a Super Rod in this deck. There's the Spicy Seasoned Curry. Oh, but no double turbo energy.
No double turbo at all. There's Town Store. You can go ahead and find the tool, but it's not really going to do it here.
And trading card games.
Yeah, missing out on the energy is just brutal here. And there is only 4 energy cards in this deck, so it's not guaranteed by any means. One of your best ways to search it out is the Forest Sealstone, and unfortunately Jason had to use the Sealstone for the Professor's Research. Now, if he was going to ditch that hand, I have to wonder if Squawkabilly could have been good. There is a chance that Squawkabilly could be in the prize cards, though, which would make sense as to why Jason didn't go that route.
Well, here is a Nest Ball. Going to see the options, but I guess you don't really have too much you want to grab. A third Hisuian Electrode V.
Yeah, that's, you know, pretty good. It's going to be your strongest attacker in this matchup once Charizard comes into play. Azul, though, I have to think is going to levy that Pidgeot EX as an attacker, signified by that energy already on the Pidgey.
Just the body language that Jason has. You can tell that this turn has not gone the way he wanted so far. You have the Town Store. You can go ahead and play that for the Ancient Booster and start the poison damage going, but
it doesn't really get you anywhere on this Manaphy, right?
It doesn't get you anywhere, and it opens up Azul to just freely search for Forest Sealstone.
Yeah, so I like the decision to hold off on that Town Store, missing the turn 1 attack. That's one of the strengths of this deck, is the fact that it can attack on turn number 1.
Azul drew an Arven for the turn, and that means he's going to play an Arven for the turn.
And we do see that Forest Sealstone being grabbed out, that second rare candy. There is already one in the hand as well. So I think we're going to see a pretty strong chain of events. Rare candy, Pidgeot, rare candy, Charizard. And do you think Azul's going to go that route with the attack with the Pidgeot?
Honestly, yeah. You take the knockout on the Klawf, and that leaves 3 Hisuian Electrode V for your opponent. They're pretty easily capable of taking the knockout on a Charizard EX, but not so much that Pidgeot EX.
Yeah, the Pidgeot definitely was able to withstand the hit. Quick search now can find the Charizard. And Azul's piecing everything together.
There's that Charizard off the quick search. Already has the other rare candy in hand. From there, you can Infernal Rain, get those fire energies, attach them to your board. One's going to go on the active, one on the Pidgeot EX, one on the Charizard most likely.
Yeah, I think he was maybe double-checking the resistance there. Yeah, nothing's resistant to colorless right now. Just making sure he knows exactly what everything does. And yeah, sure enough, Pidgeot will be the attacker of choice. Love this play.
Artizone going to use that to search for another bench Pokemon here.
Yeah, might just get to the other Pidgey, honestly. If you're going to let this one attack, you might want another one if this goes down in a couple of turns. You might want to attack with another Pidgeot, go just between the two. Makes sense to just grab another Pidgey.
The thing that we have to be careful about for Azul the rest of the game, though, used both the rare candy in the deck, and importantly, has that Charmeleon.
Yeah, that's a huge thing to find here, because like we mentioned at the beginning, 2 rare candy in the prize cards for Azul. So finding that Charmeleon this turn is massive.
Blustery Wind. That's an attack name for sure. And finds a rare candy off the prize cards.
And also discards a Stadium in play, was able to get rid of the Artisan that he put out so that he's able to utilize it, but his opponent is unable to.
Jason now drew a boss's orders for the turn. That's not going to do much.
It could knock out the Charizard if he has the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule.
Has the Town Store. So I think with that, we'll have everything along with that Spicy Season Curry.
Yeah, Town Store, search the deck for any tool card, can get that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. That'll allow you to use the ability on the Brute Bonnet, and then that Spicy Season Curry. I mean, what a card, right? I don't think whenever this card got revealed, anyone thought it was ever going to be playable.
What?
It deals, you heal 40 damage, which is great, but then you burn yourself. And there's not been really many instances where affecting yourself with a special condition is really strong, but it turns out with Hisuian Electrode and then Klawf, now that being released, it actually is pretty good.
I usually burn myself when making curry as well, so it's very flavorful.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. And the nice thing about the Electrode as well, you see there's no energy cards attached to it. It doesn't need them. It attacks for absolutely free. Azul kind of laughing at the spot as well. Boss's orders brings up that Charizard. And now Azul is going to need another Charizard to respond to this Electrode. This is looking a little questionable.
I mean, this is what Jason wants to do, right? That one prize card that Azul took off the Klawf isn't really going to matter. When you have 3 Electro V attacking for free, and as long as you have enough Spicy Season Curries in that Brute Bonnet in play, you'll be able to make some quick work of these Grass-weak Charizard EX.
Both Pokemon now being poisoned. The Hisuian Electrode V, of course, will take some damage from the burn and the poison, but that is a small price to pay when you're taking out a 330 HP Pokemon for 0 energy cards. Jason jumps ahead in this game. 2 prizes down to Azul's just 1.
Azul draws a boss's orders for the turn. Going to start things off with a Town Store. Just thin the deck out a little bit. Don't need Justified Gloves.
Yeah, pretty interesting tech for the mirror in this list. If your opponent is at 4 prizes taken, 2 prize cards remaining, you can actually one-hit KO an opposing Charizard. So pretty strong card for this weekend, especially with Charizard being the most popular deck. Makes sense to just thin it out here. Not going to be useful in this spot. Arvin can search the deck for a tool and an item card. And then now with Jason jumping ahead in the prize trade, Countercatcher becomes a play. And if I'm Azul, I think the thing he is going to want to target is most likely the Bidoof. This deck really is going to falter in the late game if he can keep Bibarel out of play and Iono his opponent. Jason needs a lot of cards every single turn. He needs the Spicy Season Curry. He's going to need the Brute Bonnet to be able to poison things. That's going to hang around and stay in play here. But if you're getting rid of the Bidoof, cutting off that Bibarel option, it's going to be pretty strong.
Quick searches for a Charmander here. And there's that Countercatcher, brings up the Bidoof like you were saying. We even have a Lost Vacuum.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Get rid of that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule.
Yeah, get that thing out of play. Force Jason to find another one. There is that Town Store in play right now, but by playing the Lost Vacuum now, you can maybe play another one in a future turn.
You just discard it with Pidgeot.
Oh, that works too. Can't forget that. Yeah, using the Pidgeot here as the attacker once again. Just get that Bidoof out of play. And then now, with no Charizard in play, even if Jason had a super strong turn once again with the boss's orders, he's not going to be able to take out a Charizard. He could still target down the Rotom here. That is a live option to take out if you can pull everything together, poison yourself, but it's pretty unlikely that Jason would be able to do that in back-to-back turns, especially with the boss's orders already being discarded on turn 1.
Yep. And used it last turn as well.
He does have a Spicy Season Curry in the hand, so he's close.
Super Odd back, just the B-Barrel and the B-Doof. Nest Ball, the B-Doof back in play. And I think there's a Professor's Research in hand that was found.
Yeah, and the way the prize trade is going to work out here, if Jason does not take a knockout this turn, Azul having taken 2 prizes now at this point, he's only got 4 remaining. All he has to do is knock out 1 Electrode, knock out another Electrode. He doesn't care if his Charizards get knocked out now, if he is able to just respond turn after turn.
And there is that B-Doof hitting the board yet again. We know there's at least 1 more Spicy Season Curry in Jason's hand, so can at least do 100 damage.
You're getting a little bit of damage in play, pretty decent. You're never going to one-hit KO the Pidgeot, so try to build it up as much as you can.
Radiant Hisuian Sneasler is a card that we haven't really seen too much outside of the old Galarian Wheezing.
Yep. Yeah, we saw it played a little bit back last season in the previous formats. Spicy Season Curry will burn this active Hisuian Electrode. And then now Research can discard this hand, find 7 new ones.
Pretty good discards too. Squawkabilly and Jirachi not doing too much in this match right now. Not really having to get rid of too many resources here. The bench is full though, so there's no route for something like a Klawf.
We do see that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule being found. Yeah, I think the Klawf is something that would be really nice if Jason could have worked that in. You know, he did choose to bench a bunch of Electrode at the start of the game. Maybe one of those Electrode right here could have been a Klawf, so that in this spot he could attack with a 1-prize Pokemon.
Well, there is that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule on the Brute Bonnet. That will allow both Pokemon to be poisoned. And Hisuian Electrode V.
100 damage for each special condition affecting this Pokemon. That's 200 damage plus the poison. Going to build up to that 210. And then with that Radiant Hisuian Sneasler on the bench, that's 20 more damage. We're dealing 230 for 0 energy.
It's pretty good.
Turns out it is pretty solid. Azul's going to thin the deck here with this level ball. Just gets the Jirachi, not useful in this matchup. Always love to see players optimizing things like this. Just when you have the opportunity to thin an unuseful card, go for it.
Now this might force Azul to retreat into a Charizard, try to take a knockout with that.
Yeah, but again, I don't know that Azul really minds that, right?
Yeah.
Retreat, attack with the Charizard. You take 2 prize cards, and what's your opponent going to do? Take a knockout with Electrode? You're fine with that. You just need 1 more Charizard. Now, Azul did prize a Charizard. That is something to keep in mind here. I believe it is also at the top of his prize card. So he may need to find a Super Rod in order to get his next Charizard up and running. He does not play the Radiant Charizard that we see a lot of times in these Zard decks. Choosing to play no Radiant Pokemon actually this weekend.
Now, looking through the list, there's an option, depending on how much damage is on a Hisuian Electrode V, to attack with the Charmeleon.
Yeah.
A Vitality Band, like Azul just attached here, you do 80 damage.
Yep.
So
with the
we could
weakness-
actually see the Charmeleon attack this turn if Azul put the energy to it.
Yeah, he actually could have gone for the Charmeleon attack. I wonder if that would be worth it or not. Might just go with the KO with the Charizard. And honestly, he doesn't need the next Charizard because the next Electrode is going to have to damage itself. Once again, we're going to see the same thing. It's going to be poisoned and burned. It might be enough that the Charmeleon can still just clean up the KO to close out the game.
That is hilarious. I think it'd be exactly enough. With the
Yeah,
poison
I
in
think,
between.
does it come down to if the burn gets healed as well? Because the Electrode will have 30 on it, and then it would be 40 damage going back into his turn if the burn was healed. So you're dealing, yeah, it would be 10 short if the burn gets healed. Yeah, so it could honestly come down to that potentially. Azul is going to be hit with the Iono here on Jason's end. Jason will take this knockout. He'll go down to 2 prizes this turn and tie this game up. Azul is going to need to find a Super Rod and a Charizard or an energy card. And he also, of course, is going to need Jason to flip Tails for the burn in Pokemon Checkup.
Now off this Iono, Azul has Lost City Battle VIP Pass in hand. That's not really going to do too much, but you have access to Quick Search.
Yeah, that can find the energy card if, indeed, Jason does flip Tails on the burn. It's going to be a big moment here for the Pokemon Checkup, I think.
Did you ever think you were going to say that?
Nope. Not at all.
Ultra Ball will be able to find that B-Barrel finally for Jason. Maybe a little bit of draw power here.
And what's awkward for Azul as well is this only is potentially going to work for Jason because the Charizard is in Azul's last 2 prize cards. If he had taken it off his prizes, he's just got the game. He just goes and gets Charizard, takes the 2 prize KO to close things out.
I guess the other thing is how many energy are left for Azul.
That is also something to consider.
I think there's 2 in the discard, and with 5 in play, that's all of them.
Yeah, so that might not be enough. The energy might not even be in there. He might need to find something like an Arven. If he can Arven for Super Rod, he has game.
Yeah.
A decent amount of things to get him there.
Actually, just any way to draw into the Super Rod before using Quick Search.
Yeah, if he can find Luminion with the Ultra Ball, which he top decked.
My.
If Ultra Ball, if the Luminion is in the deck, he can do this.
Quick Search here is going to take a quick look.
There's no Charizard. Finds the Super Rod, puts back. Yeah, this works as well. You don't have to go for the Luminion. You can Super Rod back the Charizard. Ultra Ball for the Charizard EX with the energy cards. This works out perfectly, and Azul is going to be able to close the game out. Things looked a little scary there. If he didn't find that Ultra Ball, Jason might have won it. Azul was able to sneak away with a win in game number 1.
And it's all really due to just Jason not having that turn 1 attack to take a knockout. It really just kind of went downhill from there. Jason still able to really kind of claw back, make it a game.
Klawf back.
Klawf back. Oh, I missed it.
I wonder if he had attacked with the Klawf on the turn instead of attacking with the Electrode, that would have been pretty strong. You know, just get that hit in. You're not taking the KO, obviously, but you weren't taking a KO with Electrode anyway. So just get some damage into play. You still hit really hard, and you kind of force Azul to go for a boss that turn. Yeah, or keep attacking with the Pidgeot, which would go down on the next turn, and then you can go for the Iono, and then you're taking the Pidgeot out of play, which is way better.
Well, here it was the first big knockout from Jason's side of things with that Hisuian Electrode V, taking a one-hit knockout with 0 energies on that active Charizard EX after the boss's orders. But this was the second boss's orders played for Jason, and that was really the last Charizard Azul had to put in play until the end game here, where you pretty much have everything else.
Yeah, Azul being really wise to use the Pidgeot, really used it super effectively, being able to knock out just 2 less than 120 HP Pokemon that kept him on the even prize trade, and then he just had to win the game by knocking out 2 Hisuian Electrode V.
Pretty back and forth match, and in a matchup where you would think Hisuian Electrode V having the weakness advantage, you'd have a pretty good game against Charizard, but Charizard still is just very good at doing what it does, taking those big knockouts and fighting from behind.
Really wise here from Jason, choosing to go second. I love that because not only can his deck attack on turn 1 potentially, but Azul's deck is much weaker whenever he doesn't have access to Arven to find Battle VIP Pass. Now, it's going to work out decently here for Azul. He started the Rotom, and he does have Forest Sealstone, but he is now forced to utilize Forest Sealstone for the turn in order to get a Battle VIP Pass to get his board set up so he can try to cobble something together next turn.
Honestly, it's just crazy that Azul will draw that and start the Rotom V.
Yeah.
Just have access to that instant charge at the end of the turn along with that Forest Sealstone.
Now, something Azul may want to do is go out of his way to retreat this Rotom, because if Jason can find a Switch, he does only play 2 copies of Switch, but if he can find one and get a Klawf active, he could take 2 prizes right away with a single prize Pokemon, and that's the situation Azul does not want to find himself in. His opponent getting 2 prizes super fast, he's basically playing just at a 33% deficit right from the start.
Yeah, definitely something Azul is going to have to avoid here, and I think with grabbing that Mew with its mysterious tail, going to be doing just that as long as you have an energy in hand to retreat.
Yeah, and this is super smart sequencing as well. Azul has the Forest Sealstone. He could go for the VIP Pass right away, but why would you do that when you can just use Mysterious Tail with Mew first and give yourself a chance to find the Battle VIP Pass in this way? If you do miss out, you can still use the Forest Sealstone. It's no problem. Still go get the VIP Pass, but you at least give yourself a chance to hold on to that powerful V-Star power for later in the game.
Yeah, what is this, Gardevoir?
No. Fire Energies, Charizard indeed. Does find Rare Candy. That is still solid, but now he will have to flip that V-Star marker and go for the Forest Sealstone.
Pretty good hand, though, to kind of end the turn with. You get your Charmander and potentially Pidgey, I guess, or do you just go double Charmander?
It may just be the double Charmander. You don't want to risk one Charmander being KO'd. With Jason starting the Bidoof, it's a little difficult for him to pull the pieces together to get a turn 1 knockout. But the fact that Hisui and Electrode can attack for free, it means you can use your energy cards to retreat the Bidoof. So I think Azul playing as safe as possible here, getting down the 2 Charmander absolutely makes sense.
Definitely a better play against something like Escape Rope. Already had the Pidgey in hand,
That
too,
makes
so
that decision even better.
this hand is very good for Azul here. Is going to end the turn with an instant charge, having Rare Candy Charizard already in hand.
3
And
cards
finds
being
an
added.
Ultra Ball. Wow, okay.
Yeah, Azul having just about everything he could ask for the future turns. And Jason does have a switch in hand.
Yeah, just drew it.
So we could see a turn 1 attack potentially. Let's see what he goes for. Electrode being grabbed initially. Can he get a Klawf into the active with a double turbo energy? That's the question.
Again, it's just more pieces that you need to put together. No energy in hand, and honestly, this might be a hand we Squawk and Sees away.
Yeah, it's honestly a little awkward, but it's not the end of the world. He can go get a Klawf here. He can play the switch, use the Spicy Seasoned Curry, and then also has the Squawk ability off the VIP pass as well. Does have an Ultra Ball as well in the hand, but looks like Electrode is going to be the choice for now.
Electrode, Squawk ability is pulled to the front. You also can get something like a Brute Bonnet. You have that Ancient Booster energy to go ahead and put it on there and get the active Pokemon poisoned.
Now, what I definitely don't want to see from Jason, and I'm worried that this is what he's going to do, is a switch into the Electrode and just attack with the Electrode here. Because while that does guarantee you a knockout this turn, you're going to be at a deficit in the prize trade basically immediately. You're going to take a 1 prize KO, and Azul's just going to be totally fine to respond to that with a Charizard. Take the 2 prize KO. Then you can knock out the Charizard with an Electrode. Then another Charizard knocks you out. Then you knock out that Charizard. I think you're seeing how this math goes. 6 prizes to Azul before Jason can take his.
Yeah, that is some rough math for sure. Jason here is opting to discard the Super Rod and that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule.
Honestly, Jason was kind of close to being able to Boss's Orders the Rotom and KO it with Electrode this turn. That would have been worth it.
Yeah.
He was really close to actually being able to do that with that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. I think he would have left himself with basically nothing if he had gone this route, though. Has the switch, Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. I mean, he still could get it. He could play the Boss's Orders, then Squawk and Seize. He has the Spicy Seasoned Curry, and then he just needs to find the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. This could work out for Jason if that's the route he goes.
Which it's rough because you're already discarding the 1 here off Ultra Ball, but you do have Town Store as an out.
Plenty of ways to find it. You've also got those 4 Seal Stones, which you can use to find it. Yeah, okay, this is actually going to work out. I think I like how this has ended up here for Jason, assuming that he does go with the Boss's Orders play.
Now, can you Boss's Orders the Pidgey? I know you're still going to be down, but...
No, I think you've got to chase the prizes. If you're attacking with Electrode here, you have to race the prizes.
And I think Jason agrees with you. There is that Boss's Orders. Spicy Seasoned Curry. That Electrode V is now burned. Squawk and Seize, 6 cards. We need an Ancient Booster Energy Capsule.
Let's see if he can find it. There were a couple Town Store prizes, so that's a little
no.
less likely. Last card to draw, and I think he misses. Oh,
Just a
so
nest ball.
close.
Definitely awkward here. Finding a ton of supporters off the top and some Pokemon that you don't really need.
Oh, man, you hate to see it for Jason. He was so close to pulling off an excellent play, to jumping super far ahead in this game right off the bat. And as it stands, I think he's just going to miss out.
Nest Ball here, going to find another Hisuian Electrode V. But that's not really going to do anything to close out this turn. Just going to have to Tantrum Blast for 100.
Yeah, just 100 damage, and that feels like pretty much a wasted attack and a waste of a good amount of resources as well. You used a Boss to do this. You used a Spicy Seasoned Curry to do this. You know, of course, using the Squawk ability on your first turn is all you can do, but you're not able to play something like Iono as well because you used Boss this turn, so you can't find any additional cards to keep on digging. Dealing 100 damage to this Rotom really doesn't accomplish anything because Azul can just retreat it to the bench, and you're going to have to bring it back up again in the future.
There's that 100 damage. You can just tell Jason's body language, not what you want to be doing here.
The Electrode does remain poisoned, or sorry, burned as well. Flipped tails during Pokemon Checkup, it looks like. And Azul with just so many options in the hand. Ultra Ball, Rare Candy, Charizard. He's going to have an excellent turn.
We're going to have Ultra Ball, Rare Candy, Pidgeot EX, quick search for Rare Candy, Charizard.
Charizard takes, well, I guess it's worth noting. Charizard. No, it does take a knockout because of the tails, because the burn sticks around. Yeah, I was going to say, Electrode's got 210 HP. It's not going to be KO'd, but now it will be knocked out thanks to that burn damage building up in between turns.
And Azul still has a supporter for the turn as well. You can Iono. I think there's an Arven in the hand as well.
Yeah, has plenty of options. Wants to try to advance the board as much as possible. Would like to see one of these Charmanders become a Charizard and then the other one become a Charmeleon this turn, ideally. I think that would be really strong if he can pull that together.
Oh, is my mistake not an Arven, but a boss's orders?
Yeah, I think the way this is setting up, you probably just want to go with the knockout on the active. Try to initiate the 2-prize race. I think that's just fine. Could get a little cute and go with the Pidgeot attack and a boss's orders onto the Bidoof potentially, but you really don't need to do that. When you're the one initiating this first 2-prize KO, you really don't mind too much trying to do anything sneaky and cute like that, knocking out the Bidoof.
Infernal Rain attaches those energies to Charizard EX and the Rotom B in the active, so now Azul can retreat. Has the KO lined up in a supporters for next turn along with Quick Search. And this is the scary part of this Charizard deck. When you get a turn 2 Stage 2 Pokemon in play.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what makes it super strong. And this is a difficult board state to pull off when you go first, to be honest. But the Rotom helps out so much. It makes it so much more likely that you can piece these things together. You get so many extra cards into your hand.
And there we see the Iono. Might as well use it now while you can draw 6. Ooh, we see another Rare Candy Charizard.
Might be worth just setting it up, to be honest. I mean, I don't really hate it. Like I said, you're initiating this trade. Just go for it. Doesn't seem too bad. The thing you could worry about is just putting too many energy cards into play, but it looks like Azul's not going to go that route for now. Just hold off on the pieces, take this KO, and we'll see how things develop from here.
The one downside of holding off is an Iono is going to put those to the bottom, make it harder for you to get those.
And we see Jason with plenty of cards to work with. There's that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, the piece he was missing on the last turn. Begrudgingly attaching it now to the Brute Bonnet. Another Electrode comes into play.
So with a Spicy Season Curry, can take the knockout on the active, but like you've been saying for this entire kind of matchup, it's really just, I'm going to attack, take 2 prizes, you're going to attack, take 2 prizes, and whoever really does that first and can continue it throughout the game is going to win.
Yeah, that's what it ended up being. And, you know, Azul had a little bit more nuance to his first game, you know, taking 2 1-prize KOs, but really wisely leveraging the high HP of Pidgeot as an attacker.
Debating between Klawf and that Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. Opts for the Klawf here.
And does play the Iono. Does still need to find the Spicy Season Curry. I thought I saw one in that hand, but must not have been one. I imagine Jason would have played it pretty much right away.
Jason is going to see 6 cards, though. Do we have a Curry? No, we don't.
We don't have a Curry, and we also don't even have Forest Sealstone or some way to find it.
The takeout order was canceled. Escape Rope in hand.
Yeah, I think he has to go for Escape Rope here. And then you can take a knockout on something Azul promotes unless that Pidgeot is sent up. And I think Azul is happy to promote this. He knows that there's no way that this goes down in one attack. It's just going to have to eat a hit for a turn. And honestly, as Jason, I think you just have to send up, like, the Klawf and just pass. Yeah, I think that's better than just putting damage onto this. Yeah, you can at least attack. That is true. Yeah, get some damage in play. This is pretty solid. Try to force this 1-prizer when you can. And this would be the reason maybe that Azul holds off on using the Rare Candy Charizard last turn so that he has the option to attack with Pidgeot if he wants to, just depending on what his opponent ends up doing.
Well, there's that Brute Bonnet poisoning both actives. Klawf able to deal good chunk of damage, but remember that Pidgeot EX is resistant to fighting. So minus 50, so you do 140 plus the poison, that's 150. And now it's up to Azul.
Yeah, it looks like he'll grab the Charmeleon, if I had to guess here. Evolve one of these Charmander. Now he just needs Rare Candy and a Charizard. He doesn't have any of those pieces just yet. Actually, doesn't even need them, I guess, because he has the Charizard. Does need to find Boss's orders, though, in order to take out this Squawkabilly. Jason, not having taken a prize card yet, would have made it difficult for Azul to take a 2-prize KO normally, but that Squawkabilly with just 160 HP is going to be an easy target to go down.
It has Lost Vacuum on that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule as well. Should be going to the Lost Zone, but Honestly, with the way this game has gone, Azul has been dominating, already up down 2 prize cards to 6.
Yeah, and here Jason is just really in a tough spot. He can attack with the Electrode. If he finds the Spicy Seasoned Curry, he can get that one-hit KO, but then all Azul is going to need is a Charizard EX. He's got Quick Search Pidgeot in play. He can guaranteed find any card out of his deck, and that is the one piece he would need in order to close out this game.
And if you try to go for a knockout on the Pidgeot EX, that leaves the Charizard in play with 2 energy.
Yep. Now, the one thing Jason could do would be boss KO the Pidgeot with the Klawf.
Yeah.
If he could do that, maybe there's a chance. But I actually don't even think, yeah, would still be enough damage. The resistance from the Pidgeot, the reduction of the double turbo energy makes it a little bit awkward, but I think he would still, yeah,
Well,
150
listen,
damage
if you did
on there.
150 last turn, you're going to do 150 again this turn.
Exactly. So it would be enough.
Iono is a good start, able to put Azul down to 2 cards. But now that means you don't have access to that boss's orders. There's no counter catcher in the list, so that really is just the writing on the wall is now, I'm going to lose.
I mean, there is always the chance that Azul prized double Charizard EX, right? So you got to play to your outs. It's entirely possible. We haven't seen another Charizard EX just yet. You would force Azul to have an Arven or a Super Rod plus the Pidgeot to get the piece back. So it is not guaranteed, but a very low % chance here that Azul would not win this game.
Ultra Ball discards Battle VIP Pass and Professor's Research. We're going to see the B Barrel most likely.
Get that set up, draw a few extra cards. Jason is going to play it out. Of course, he doesn't know that Azul is going to have access to everything he needs. He's got to play like Azul won't just win the game next turn.
I don't know if I like using Star Alchemy before the Industrious Incisors here.
Yeah, you might as well use the Industrious Incisors first, draw 3 cards, see if you get the Spicy Seasoned Curry, and then if you don't, you get to use your V-Star power. And if you do get it, then now you get to save your V-Star power for potentially a future turn.
Well, listen, it's because you also need the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule to get the poison.
That is true as well. You need multiple pieces in this spot. He can play the switch to thin a little bit, switch into that other Hisuian Electrode. But no, we'll just be the Spicy Seasoned Curry. Yeah, and you can tell by Jason's body language, he's feeling probably a little defeated at this point. Things are just not going according to plan for sure. Going to draw 3 cards here. Needs the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule to stick around in this one. Does find it, so we can at least get this one-hit KO.
Go down swinging. That's what we like to see.
Respectable, without a doubt. A respectable showing from the Klawf. All you can ask for.
It's making a deck list, checking it twice.
He's going to find out that this Charizard is going to win the game.
And there is that Tantrum Blast being able to take the knockout. But here, Azul promotes that Pidgeot EX.
Yep. And as long as there's not 2 Charizard EX in the prize cards, Azul GG is going to be able to close this one out.
Azul GG is going to be able to say GG.
He will indeed be able to do just that. Quick Search now searches the deck. And sure enough, Charizard brought to the front. A couple of energy cards. Does need to make sure there is enough energy. Got a little sketchy there for a second, but yeah, Azul have to expect would be keeping in mind all of those pieces. Rare Candy into Charizard, boom, boom. Taking the KO with Burning Darkness. More than enough to knock out this Electrode. And Azul gets to a 7-0-1 record here at San Antonio Regionals.